Imagining a galaxy-wide government that has one supreme leader, aka supreme chancellor, during the reign of the empire. Just the thought of ruling or being the president of one country is scary, let alone a galaxy. This seems to be a trend in Star Wars, to where even if this overlord gets overthrown and peace is at hand, it seems like the galaxy wants to follow the same trend of having some type of supreme leader over all. If it's not the empire, it's the first order. But again, this being gets murked. Throughout all this galaxy, there's a whole bunch of worlds. And there's some races or beings or certain individuals in general that get chosen by the Force to be Force sensitive, which gives them a whole bunch of different abilities, some having greater or stronger abilities than others. One of the mightiest dark side Force users of all time, Darth Sidious, a being that can handle two Sith Lord level beings at the same time, one of them being Darth Maul. Well, he can at least handle two Force users at the same time. One of them being a Sith Lord tier like Darth Maul. Darth Sidious is a being so mighty with the Force, he can even rival Lord Vader. Somewhere in the Palpatine family tree, he actually had a granddaughter, which is Rey. Thanks to being connected to this mysterious energy field created by life that binds the galaxy together, harnessing the power of the Force gives the Jedi, the Sith, and others sensitive to this spiritual energy extraordinary abilities. Levitating objects, tricking minds, seeing things before they happen, blah, blah, blah. She can resist Force users' mind reading because she has her own Force ability. When she was contained, she used her mind ability to make Stormtrooper release her. Before she even knew she had the Force, when it comes to fighting ability, she seems to have that at least. When we're talking about pure melee combat, a good example is how she's used the staff in melee to get the jump on beings, to show her fighting speed is pretty swift and she can get the jump on you fast. Yeah. Also, I want to mention she's went through her fair share of power progression or skill progression throughout the movies, each movie vastly getting stronger. Majority of this movie, she didn't even know she had the Force. She got training with the Force. Then she's like perfecting what she learned. Off screen, she learned about arcane healing techniques from ancient Jedi texts. That's why when you see stuff like this happen to Kylo Ren, this would normally be lethal, being able to Force heal, yo. So even if she doesn't have her lightsaber or if she's not spamming the Force, she can just straight up hammer you with her staff or melee combat. Stormtroopers, y'all get murked. The same goes for droids. I think we can all agree, in close quarters combat, she can put in work. The good part about using the Force, she can summon weapons to her to help with this. This is before she even knew she had the Force. She still can handle y'all and knock y'all the heck out. Get murked. And then when we talk about her using melee weapons like a lightsaber, that makes her striking power way worse because of the nature of what the lightsaber can cut. Being able to cut through super durable armor and stuff of that such. These beings aren't just wearing armor for show, and the fact they can cut through these entities. Vehicles, it can cut that big. Despite this laser sword being so puny, apparently it can still do crazy damage like that. It can accidentally cut food plots, big boulders she can slice through it, like all this rock. And slicing through trees seems to be a common occurrence for beings that use lightsabers. The Force is helping her with her agility and balance, being able to deflect stuff while she's balancing, thanks to her fighting and reaction speed on top of this, working together with one another. Even when her eyes are blocked. On top of her melee combat skills, she's decently skilled with a blaster even if she barely used it in the past. We've seen her use the weapon Chewie be using, like this bowcaster, aim, this super axe, or whatever she used. When it comes to her muscle strength, that's not something she specializes in, but the Force can amplify her physical attributes, like in the Last Jedi novelization, aka a novelization retelling of what happened in the actual movie, they talk about how she uses the Force to jump. In scenes like this, a technique she never really embraced, but she's shown to be able to do it. It's a technique used by dark side holders of the Force. This is something we don't see her do a lot because that's the dark side. Yeah. Now, if we're talking about her raw power with the Force, or one could say her raw destructive output, how much she can lift with the Force. If she needs you to get close to her, she can just pull you to her. If she's in a situation that's not good, she can use the environment to her advantage. Like this big monster, she can just pull down all that bullcrap on the monster. You gotta love Star Wars and these massive creatures. This big old serpent, she can pull down. In the middle of combat, can just slam you to the ground. Even when she's in the middle of a battle, she can push you back. She can lift a lot of weight because she lifted this giant sea serpent, large rocks. She has the strength to move, multiple rocks at the same time, little ones, and others that are not necessarily rocks. She can levitate at the same time. All these crates, she can lift up. Apparently can float her own body along with other rocks while meditating. Massive boulders like this, she can lift up with the Force. Even in just training sessions with Luke, she can just crack stone apart. Similar to how Kylo Ren can freeze blaster bolts mid-flight, there's heavy implications that Rey could do stuff like this. She's able to literally redirect these blasts and blast them with their own blast. Yeah, can use her melee weapon as an extension of the Force itself to hit you with it even if she's not near you, then summon the weapon back at her after she hits you from far away with the weapon. Or spin the staff around itself like on some helicopter stuff to knock you out that way. She has enough raw power to stop literal transport ships from taking off. Yeah, dragging it down with her raw Force power. And quite literally, when it comes to the Force raw power of Kylo Ren and Rey, however much he can blast, lift, or whatever, they are similar. They literally had tug of wars. Multiple times during the series, literally tug of warring a transport ship. Yeah, them two pulling this ship, fighting against each other. If you had your doubts on how they compare to each other when it comes to raw Force output, they stalemate to where they send each other backwards. Not only that, they had plenty of lightsaber duels and she can stop his attacks, parrying his attacks with her Force ability. We're also not going to forget Kylo Ren has the blast power to destroy an entire building or temple. All this information confirms she could blast buildings apart if she wished with the Force. Yeah, that kind of power output she has. I would even go as far as say she can blast multiple buildings down. It's feats like this that prove her blast power could definitely destroy buildings if she felt like it. Just look at the amount of destruction she can do with her output. In the novelization, they described her raw power to be pure Force, brighter than a lightsaber, hotter than a sun. Man, imagine if she joined the dark side. And here's the thing. There's been a lot of Force users in the continuity of Star Wars. All of them are not created equal. For example, most Force users aren't necessarily on Darth Vader's level. The same goes for Sith Lords like Emperor Palpatine being able to fight multiple Force users at the same time. The cool thing about Rey is that Rey has the genetics of a powerful Sith Lord down the line of her genes. Not to mention Rey and Kylo. Kylo literally has Vader's genetics. So there's clear narrative on where her power level has to be, no matter how you like her or not. I mean, look at Luke Skywalker's opinion about Rey's power.
I've seen this raw strength only once before. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
All of this lore kind of adds up with her being related to Palpatine, so she has to be kind of high on the food chain. Wouldn't you believe that anybody that has Vader's genetics or Palpatine's genetics would be above your any old standard Force user? For example, I think we all can agree that Kylo Ren is above Force users like this. And we've seen him lift, along with other Force users, lifted up, moved big structures that are skyscraper or one could say mountain-sized with the Force. And we all know, narratively speaking, how that happened when Vader and this guy fought. They're just not on his level. And this is who Kylo is related to. And Rey and Kylo's blast are similar to each other in raw output. And when it comes to this Lothal temple, they can move the structure upward or twist it upwards with the Force. This structure looks mountain-sized. I see no reason on why Rey or Kylo couldn't lift such a structure or move such a structure like this as well, because they're higher up on the food chain. Even if you believe she's not as strong as Luke Skywalker, it's good to know that beings like Luke Skywalker was able to shake an entire Star Destroyer. A ship that's so big that if it existed, this is how many buildings it would take up when it comes to how much space it would take up. It's like the literal size of a town or a few towns. Due to Rey's genetics, there's a chance she could possibly duplicate this feat as well, even though I'm not saying she's Luke Skywalker's equal or anything. What if she's 1/4? Or 1% or something, or 5%, whatever. It's not no exact science to it. Obviously, destroyers don't exist, but some folks have calculated that it could weigh up to a few million tons, even up to 4 million and something tons if it was actually existing. Feats like this, if we are to take seriously, there's a chance she could shake something that weighs millions of tons. Even if you don't want to say she can shake the whole 4 million tons, what if she could shake, I don't know, 1 million tons or something? Like, it depends on how you look at it, right? How much blast power do you think she got in her base state? I mean, we know for a fact she can lift hundreds of tons with the Force because of scenes like this that portray her blast power. Shows how strong she is. Considering how big these rocks is and she's lifting all this crap up, man, this could be thousands of tons if you add all of this bull crap together, guys. What do you think? Do you think she can lift thousands of tons with the Force? Or do you remember when she got amplified? I can't believe I'm saying this on a Star Wars video, but yep, temporary power-ups. Yay, like I always say in my Marvel and DC videos. She got one of the biggest power-ups in Star Wars history. Every Jedi who ever lived amped her up, which is how she was able to overcome Palpatine.
Be with me. Every Jedi who ever lived lives
I wonder if she could still do this, or is that a one-time thing? Was it a temporary power, or was they're probably never gonna get back to this? But yeah, just had to throw this in there. One thing we know for sure is that she had to be amped to be able to fight Emperor Palpatine and defeat him. But everybody, that's just about going to do it. Do you respect Rey Skywalker or Rey Palpatine? Do you hate her guts? But before I get going, thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect her. At least respect her power, right? I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.